Hey y'all, and welcome back to Skyrim Scripting. On this episode, we are going to pick up where we left off last time, working on our mod that is basically a ripoff of AddSpellMenu. We wanted to add like a spell menu, just as an example of how to use a couple of things in Skyrim Scripting. So we are using, for example, the UIExtensions mod for creating the same type of UI that AddItemMenu has for choosing the spells to add, because this will let you basically search for any spell in the game or any spell in a mod and just click and your character will get that spell. And we're also using Power of Three's Papyrus Extender as just our means of getting all of these spells in the game, which we've already set up. So, and we already started pushing everything up to GitHub, and before the end of the series, we will have everything up on Nexus. I will probably close out this series showing the mod up on Nexus. Because as we saw last time, there was a viewer that made a post who said they couldn't find anything like this. So we're making it and showing you how to make it too. So here's where we left off last time. In the last episode, we started off by making a plugin and adding some extensions and let's go to COC Riverwood. Still looking for other cell recommendations. Look at the top left. We got new spell tomes added, and so if we go and we go into our inventory, I'm just using vanilla UI for right now, not Sky UI. And look in our books, we've got these spell tomes for the AddSpellMenu and AddSpellMenu search spells. We'll learn those. Under Conjuration, we can find them. We might add them as powers later. That's what AddItemMenu does. And we haven't touched this one, which is supposed to list all of the mods that you have installed and let you choose a mod to look at all the spells inside of. We focused on search. So if we cast the search spell, we get a search box. And you can put in something. You can put in fire. Show me all the spells with fire in the name. There's a bunch of them. I don't know why there are two called Firestorm. There must just be two in the game for different reasons. I'm going to pick Fireball. And look at the upper left and we can see the Fireball was added. If we go to our player's destruction, we can see Fireball is there. If we cast it again, look for fire again. And now this is one of the downsides, right? We might want to be able to just have your player go click, 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 and save all of them. But we'll fix that. We're going to get to that in this episode. So now if I choose Sunfire, it gets added, and we also updated this mod so that it only shows spells that you don't already have on your player. So if we choose Fire Bolt, cast again, look for fire again, we'll see that it goes away. And there's about a just Fire Rune. There's about like an almost 2-second delay between when you search 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, and you see the results. That's a side effect of us literally finding every spell in the game and searching all the spells for the text that you put in. We're also maxing out the results that we're giving you right now at 128 results. So if you were to search for something like A, it's going to find all the spells in the game that have A in it. But we only right now go until 128 items due to some limitations, which we can get around in this episode if we decide to. So here they are. They're not sorted. It'd be really cool to sort these. Just add that to the list of to-dos. Reopen the game when it's not raining so that we don't have that rain in the background all episode. I would like, while I'm coding a mod, to have rain in the background the whole time. I don't know if you on a screencast would like that, so hopefully it's a sunny day, bright and sunny day. And it pretty much is. So we'll have our character learn those spells, and then we will start our coding. Cool, so instead of picking up on where we left off with search, because we're going to do other things with search, we're going to use a different UI so that you can see a full list of all the spells, some interesting things about the spells, and choose them. Just go click, 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 and learn them all using the magic menu that comes with UIExtensions. However, let's get this spell working first. The one that's just supposed to display a list of mods. Because I just kind of want to go a little bit, not more slowly, I just want to be direct with what we're doing. It's a good thing to do. Let's get it over and done with. So right now, here's the effect for listing spells. So when you cast that AddSpellMenu, this is the effect that runs in the background. We called it list because the other one is called search. We have over here our quest script, which at the beginning of the game adds those spell tomes. And then we have these two effects associated with the two spells. One which will do the search, and here's all of our code for pulling up that text entry, and we'll clean this up later, and performing the search. And here is our code for doing the list of mods. So we don't have that right now. What do we want to do? Let's say events on effect added. And this takes, you can find this on creationkit.com under events. This takes an actor, target, actor, caster. And just to show you again, you could go to creationkit.com, click on the left for Skyrim, not the right for Fallout, and then look on the left for scripting reference, and then scroll down until you see subcategories, and then look for events, and this is my favorite page. My favorite pages are this, and it's like all Papyrus functions list. I always forget how to get to this, but it's a list of all the Papyrus functions, although this may be inaccurate. So I use the search box more than I use this actually, but it's good to know that it exists. So for example, here is on effect start and on effect finish, which magical effects have, and they take a target and a caster. See, I did it wrong. I was thinking on item added. It's on effect start. So what do we want to do when we cast the spell? Well, we want to pick up like a mod list chooser. So when we worked on our search, what we did was we put all this code in here, which is totally fine. I want to be a little bit more, what's a good word, declarative in our code. I want to do something like this. I want to make a mod chooser, like just like a mod list, and then we'll show it. So what I'll do is, I'm going to go into source, and I'm going to click new file, and I'll just do AddSpellMenu. Let me click a new, those things are called effects. I'm going to call this just like a menu or something, and I'll call it mod chooser. .psc. Script name mod chooser. Cool. Is that too long? No, it's fine. And then from our list effect, all I'm going to do is I'm going to call like AddSpellMenu mod chooser dot show. I'll just show the mod chooser, and so I'll make a function on here called show, and it'll be global, and this will show a mod chooser. If we wanted to, we could say like int selected mod equals, or string rather, string selected mod equals, get it back from show, and then we could do more stuff with this. We'll like get the selected mod from that list, and then we'll say show the spell chooser. So we could have a spell chooser, just like we've got this mod chooser. I'll go to source, right click new file, and I'll do a spell chooser. So we'll have a list for choosing your mods, we'll have a list for choosing your spells, and we'll probably have a search box or something for getting the results from that little search box. Would it be a big B, small b? I don't know. So we'll come back to that. Those are all to-dos. Cancel. I wanted to close all the files. Let's close you, and let's close you. Oh, this is where we were. So selected mod equals, and then we'll give it to like a spell chooser. Could you show the spell chooser for this mod? Right now, let's just make it so when you cast a spell, we get a little thing that shows all of the mods that are available, and then you can click on it, and we will get all the spells for that mod. Sure. Mod chooser. What do we want to show? Well, we're going to use one of those UI list menus that we did in UIExtensions. So we need to populate that up with a bunch of mods. So if we go back over to creationkit.com and you look for scripting reference, I'm going to look for game. It shows up a bunch. Just for game script. You can always just search for game script up here. SKSC adds a number of functions here, including get the total count of mods and get the name for a particular mod by name, by index. So you can, it'll tell you, hey, you've got 5 mods installed, and you can be like, hey, what's the name of mod 0? And they'll be like, it's mod foo. And you'll be like, cool, what's the name of mod 3? And it'll be like, that's mod bar. But there also, it separately tracks the light mods. Make sure, and when I tested this, this wasn't like a sub count. This was, okay, I don't know if, I'm going to guess that get mod count does not include the list of light mods. Refers to the amount of ESM and ESP files in the load order. This refers to the number of plugins with the ESL flag in the load order. Huh. Anyway, we'll have to see whether or not, I'm wondering if we'll need light. Let's test it. Let's just add the list of all mods from get mod count, regular mods. I'm going to see if this mod shows up, AddSpellMenu, and then I'm going to flag AddSpellMenu with ESL and see if it still shows up. So we're going to use these game functions. So let's go to our code and let's say let's just do it in line here. We'll say int number of mods equals game get mod count. Int index equals 0. We'll loop through them, and while the index is less than the number of the mods, we'll increment that index, and we'll add to a list. So we'll make this list. We'll say UIExtensions dot init menu UI text entry. And then we need to get menu as UI text entry menu. So we need a UI text entry menu. Not text entry, might be. Y'all are like, what are you talking about? UI list menu equals UI extensions dot get menu UI list menu as UI list menu. Just roll with it. That's what we need. That allows us to get this list menu dot add function so that we can add the spells. So we can say add entry item. We can say we'll get this particular mod's name. So we'll say mod name equals game dot get mod name. As you can see, it takes the index that you get from get mod count, and so we'll just say index, and we'll add the mod name to the drop down thingy, and then we'll just show the list menu. We'll open it, save, build. Compilation failed. What I do where? Spell chooser 0. The one that I haven't done anything with yet. These are placeholders for doing it in a bit. Cool. Apparently it wants those to have script names, which is a reasonable request. Cool. Compile. Let's go to our game and let's reload script. Add spell menu. No reason for trucks to be that loud. And I have a truck. Menu mod chooser.psc. But then we also have the effect that we changed. Effect list. I totally want to make a mod that will look at if you've updated certain scripts, and will automatically do that reload for you. Just peace out and come back in. I don't know if there's some script that we didn't reload that we needed to. Oh, let me set this tea while it's still warmish. So spicy. Cool. Here they are. Da, 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 da. And AddSpellMenu is there, and if you click on them, nothing happens right now. Let's do one thing while we're at it, while we're thinking about it. I'm going to change AddSpellMenu to an ESLified ESL flag mod and see if it still shows up. That'll just tell us whether or not we need to use the late mod count in addition to the mod count. I wish it weren't trash day. I'm hoping y'all aren't hearing the crash of garbage trucks out there. Oh, you definitely heard that. How do they not know that I'm recording? How could the whole world not know? It's impossible. We're using SSE edit, we're selecting our mod, we're going to go to flags, we're going to have to wait for it to finish building its little references with the background loader. It always says it's done, but then it has to do some more. We can go to file, edit, headers, because if we right click here, ooh, it lets us edit. Nope. Edit is disabled until this background loader still building references finishes. And it finished, so let's right click edit over here. It'll ask us if we're sure. Yes, we're sure. It's ours. It's our plugin. We want to add the ESL flag, and that's it. Come on. ESL. I didn't see the OK button, so then we're going to save. And we don't need to back it up, ESP, because we've got ours in GitHub anyway. Close out of it. And let's run the game and now see if our mod shows up in the list of mods. If it doesn't, then we're going to want to include people's light mods. So we're going to add to that list all of the mods and all of the light mods. But we're going to find out right now if we need to do that. Braveheart. Roar. Our thing no longer shows up. Aha! So we no longer have AddSpellMenu showing up. So we want to be able to see ESL flag mods. So to do that, we're going to go to our codes and we're basically just going to copy the code that we just wrote and do it twice. So we're going to say number of mods equals the get mod count, but we're going to install get light mod count instead. And then instead of getting the mod name, we're going to get the light mod name by index, and then we'll add them all. Compilation failed. What did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? Oh, number of mods and index are already defined variables, so we're just going to reset them and reuse them. So we're just assigning them instead of declaring them and assigning them. Tired. But it's early. Ooh, it's later than I want it to be, though. It's almost 10 a.m. and I've got Dungeons and Dragons later. That's the only spell we care about right now. Let's cast it. Cool. AddSpellMenu is back. Now we could click it and we want to see the spells in it. So yeah, I'll exit out of this for now so that we don't have that cricket noise in the background while we code. And actually, let's make it so that for us, while we're testing, let's just add those spells to the character when the game starts via the quest script, so that we don't have to keep getting those tomes. We could say, like, if you're in debug mode, we'll say Boolean. I'll just say if debug mode or whatever. That adds spell tomes to player, so let's add the spells to player. And we'll do the same thing. But instead of the tomes, we want the IDs of the spells themselves. So let's just do this. Let's say search spell ID. List spell ID. Let's go get those. Add spells to player. Let's do these spell IDs. List spell ID. Cool. Save build. Let's head on into CK and just grab those IDs real quick lack. Chai tea from like that powder stuff. I used to use bags, but my place stopped selling those, so I'm using the powder stuff mixed in with cayenne pepper. What do we want? We want add spell menu things. Here's some spells. And if you open up the spell, you can't see the damn ID. You can't see it. And for a tome, we did preview, and then you can see the book, right? And then that has the ID up here. So we got like D69 and D68, I think. 68. If you want the ID of anything else, you still use the same preview. So even though there's no spell to preview, you still can get this up here. So the list spell is 801. Of course, we could bind these spells to our quest script via properties. But we're only ever going to do this once, and so that's kind of a little bit wasteful. 801. Which one is this? The list spell. List spell is 801, and then the other one is 800. 800. 555. 5555. Cool, now the next time we boot up the game, we're not going to have to do those spell tomes for ourselves. Something a little bit more declarative of what it's doing. Hokily dokily. So we were calling this from the list kind of spell. When you cast it, it triggers this effect. And so we're saying, give me the selected mod, and then we'll choose show the chooser for all of its spells somehow. Let's just say debug message box, you selected the mod and selected mod. And so our thing will return the mod that you selected. So let's do open the menu, and then after you open the menu, we can get the index of which item that you selected. We can't get the name from it. We can get the index. Now we'll say int selected index equals list menu dot get. It's like int get select get result int. Now the easiest way to do this is we're just going to say if selected index is greater than -1, let's just say if it equals -1, then we return nothing or none, so we don't actually have to handle that because the function will do that by default. It's -0 because if you don't choose anything, if you hit tab to exit out of that box, it'll give you the value -1 instead of 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or whatever. And so we added mods, and then we added light mods. So we might get an index for a mod, or we might get an index for a light mod. So we'll just say if let's say if the number that we get back is less than the number of mods that there are, so that we've 3 mods installed maybe, and we could get 0, 1, or 2. And so if it's less than 3, we know it's a mod, otherwise it's a light mod. So if the selected index is less than the number of mods. Then it's coming from here, so we can just say we use get mod name index, but it's selected index. And we return a string. Otherwise, if it's greater than that, then it must be one of the late mods. Let's give it a shot. And right now it's just going to print out that mod name, which is something, because next we get to do the spell chooser, and that's going to be super fun. We already kind of have done it, but we're going to use the actual magic menu this time. All right, we should already have the spells. Ooh, we don't have the spells. Why not? Why do we not have the spells? Go to the quest script. Add spells to player. We're saying we need to add the spell. We were adding spells as items. And this is just our little helper for calling get form from file with our mod name. Just little helpers. Little helpers make things a little bit more readable. A little bit easier to maintain. Easier for other folks to read. And I don't write a lot of code. I only put code comments really in my code if it's a note to self, or if it's a mod that other people will be reading the script, and then I put a bunch. But otherwise, instead of code comments, just name things well. There's this idea that programmers use lots of code comments, and it's mostly wrong. That kind of comes from the old days where you used to name variables like X. And nowadays you get like torn up for doing that, because you should have named your variable like name of dog legs or number of dog legs. Although that's just a constant. That's 4. Well, no, it's not necessarily in all cases. My dog is staring at me, so that's what I thought of. Skyrim ESM. You selected Skyrim ESM. Teleport spells. So that's the last of the mods. This is the first light mod. Let's see if that one works. Ooh, it didn't. Ooh. Now this is an off by 1 kind of doohickey. It's probably calling get mod name selected index instead of this. And if that's the case, if it's less than, it'll do that. Say we say less than number of mods minus 1. That might be right. The mod count isn't 0 indexed. The mod count is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The index is like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we kind of have to make the count, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, map to the same language of the 0 base. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see if that's the case. I don't know. Teleport spells? No, everybody. Maybe the light. Can you get the name of a light mod? Yeah, because we add them to the go in the opposite direction. I don't know, I'm just testing this while I see what my phone is buzzing all about. Because I'm curious why. What you buzzing about, phone? Not gonna work. Duh. Duh. Super duh. We're trying to say get light mod name 9, but there's only one light mod. So we do the selected index minus the number of mods. Doy. How could I not have thought of that? It's after 10 a.m. I guess that's why I thought of it, because it's after 10 a.m. An hour ago. It may have been a struggle. How are we doing? 36 minutes? Okay. Not too shabby. I think we'll be fine. Teleport spells. Cool. That's the last one of the normal mods. Let's try the first of the light mods. Hey, look at that. And AddSpellMenu does have 2 spells. So we can pass it along to that spell chooser. I'm just going to save, and I'm going to say show list of mods and light mods. So everything except for the ESP change. I'm going to save that change by itself. Actually, can I select none? And I'll just select the mod chooser and the list when we don't want SSE edit. I'm actually going to go in here and I'm going to add a git ignore. And normally what I do is ignore all my BSA files, ignore all my zip files, ignore any 7-zip files, and ignore anything from SSE edit. Save. And that SSE edit cache goes away. Create add git ignore. Then we'll just choose the ESP and I'll say ESLify. And then for the rest of these quests, add spells to player. Oops, can I go back to that one? Amend the commit with, I forgot the PSC part of it. And then these ones are these like empty files, these empty scripts. We're not using them yet, so I won't even commit them. I'll push everything that I saved. And so now that stuff's on GitHub. It's just good habit so that you don't lose stuff. And so you can always go back and like we can always see what we did. So we're done with the mod chooser. The mod chooser works. Ta-da! We're done. Now we want the we want to get all of the spells from the mod, and we want to show them in this magic menu thingamajigger. And now the magic menu thingamajigger is kind of rough. Like I could show you here, I'll just show you all the spells in the mod really quickly, and then we'll get into the doohickey. So let's say temporarily just show the spells in the mod. I'll just show you this real quick because it's super easy. All we do is we get a spell array of spells, and it's equal to Papyrus power of 3 SKSE functions. Get all spells in mod, and you give it a mod name. So we've got selected mod. comma, and one of the options is whether you only want to include the playable ones, and maybe we could do something like when you search, we include the playable ones only. But if you choose, I'll show you without the playable, and then what we'll do is we'll build up a list of, let's just look at the top 30 of them or something. We'll do if index equals 0, while index is less than spells length, and index is less than, let's say, 40. I want to show a giant message box. Index, increment it, and then we'll add to some text that will show in a debug real quick. So string text equals all, let's see, all and spells.length spells in mod, selected mod. You'll see what that renders like. And we'll do a debug message box with all that text. So we're just going to add to the text for each spell. We will say text, amend to it the spells index, get the name of the spell, and I'll add a new line. We'll build this, and we'll see the top, let's say, the top 40 spells in any one of these, including the ESMs. I think it'll work for ESM. It should. We'll go outside later, puppy. Is that what you want? Oh no, did you go back to bed? She went back to bed. You want to come hang out, baby? You come hang out? Come right in mud. Come on. You come right in mud? Alright. Come on. Come right in mud. Come right in mud. Come in. Fine. Sleep down there. And we'll look at what's in AddSpellMenu, which is ours. And you can see it has 2 spells, AddSpellMenu search and AddSpellMenu menu. I kind of want to get rid of that initial one, but whatever. Here's the teleport spells. It has, this is key, muffle invisibility, power blink, shadow dance, fall damage protection, omnipresence, spiritual exhaustion, omnipresence, remove marker, blink configuration menu. Now, those are all the spells that don't have spell tomes associated with them, and so those are kind of weird. Like, let's look at the ones in Skyrim. It might take a minute to load. Nope. Some of these just don't have names. Something Dragonborn. Ethereal effect spell. So these aren't normal spells with like spell tomes and stuff, and that's why Power of 3 included this amazing flag. When you say get all spells or get all spells in mod, you can say whether or not you want them to be just playable ones. And I think for mod authors, it'd be really cool if we allow this to include the non-playable ones. It'd be really cool for testing, so that you can just really quickly add an effect, like add an active effect from any of your lists of spells to your player. I won't add the effects, it'll add the spells, but which may or may not add effects. So let's rerun that, and then we should, from that mod that we downloaded that said something like what was that? It's teleport spells. It says it adds 4 new teleport spells, but we saw a bunch of stuff in that list. And so let's see what we get now. We could even start the game with this spell equipped. Set to false. All I did was I copied this is playable thing, and so it's false, but we want ones that are playable. Let's see if we can do this. Let's player.equip game get player equip a spell. Let's add it down here. So when we add the spells to the player, let's automatically equip the list spell. We could put that in a variable, but source. Put it in there, left hand, I don't know. Let's do it in both hands. Cool. It's kind of repetitive, but I don't know if this is debug code that we'll get rid of. So, save, build, hop in the game. Did I get rid of that message box that's been annoying me? Build, run. It's already equipped. We don't need to do that. All these little things to just make your testing experience a little bit faster. So let's look in here. Now we see, I guess there's 6 of them, not 4, but and now if we look at AddSpellMenu, again we just see these 2. So what we want now is we want to do something like add those spells to a fancy pants magic menu. We want a magic menu like this to show up. Now if you go to UIExtensions, which we opened up before, all we did was we went to like Nexus or Mod Organizer 2, we went to UIExtensions, we open it up in the Explorer window, which is opening up on another screen for me. We open up the Bethesda SoftWorks Archive, BSA, using BAE, the Bethesda Archive Extractor, and we extracted all of the source scripts to a folder like so. I'll put that in my downloads. Boop, boop, boop. And we ended up with these scripts and the script source. And this I already have open up in Visual Studio Code. I'll close it. So you can see I like to just right click and open with code because it'll bring up the whole folder and it's really easy to browse around these things. So the magic menu is a funky one. You're supposed to give it 2 actors because it's for exchanging spells. But we don't have anybody to exchange spells with. So what we're going to do, we're going to make an actor. we're going to make an instance of them in the world, just in a blank cell, and then so that we have an instance of that actor. And then we're going to give that actor all the spells that we want to be available to us, and then we'll trade with them using the magic menu. Because the magic menu, you make one of them, and then you open up the form, giving it the actor as like you say open menu, and you give it like the player or the person you want to trade with. I think the person you want to trade with, but then you also have to set the receiving actor. So we'll do that and we'll see what it looks like. So let's go to our code. And we don't need this anymore. And we know how to do that. So I'm thinking about how this is going to work with the search and this. So what I'm going to say is, let's get our actor, and we'll let's make them, and then in here we'll add the spells to that actor using a nice helper method that we'll make. And we're going to want a reference to that actor. So let's kick this thing off. We've got AddSpellMenu stuff. We're going to add one more stuff, an actor, AddSpellMenu, barter NPC, or something like that. Are they going to need a name? We'll just say AddSpellMenu, because if it shows up in the UI, we could just say it's spells. Spells. We'll just call it spells in case that's what shows up. They probably shouldn't be a fox. We can make them whatever we want. And just in case anyone hits preview, I'll give them close. And they have close. Dark elf with close. How about mage outfit? Cool. Well, nobody's going to see her. We're just going to save her, and we're going to create a new cell and put her there. So we're just going to put her into nothingness. Sorry, NPC. So we go to world, we go to cells, we right click new cell, and we say add spell menu cell for NPCs, whatever. Then down in the cell view, because you can't right click new down here for whatever reason, but we can say add spell. We see our option here, add spell menu cell for NPC. We double click on that, and we get empty nothingness. And so we're just going to drag our barter NPC into empty nothingness. Whee! Hello NPC. And I want an instance of them. I want this instance. This is the base form. I want one of them. Oh no, our head is gone. Add spell menu barter NPC instance. If that's not too long. And let's grab this form ID. And let's put this into our quest for these other things. Let's say int add spell menu. We don't need these prefixes. just say barter NPC ID. We could say instance, but we're gonna know that. OX, because I don't think you can get the, you probably get a base, an actor base, but we don't want that. 1831. Now we can get a reference to this instance. Double check it. 1831. Cool. Save. So they're in there now. And if we look, they don't have any spells. We didn't give them any kind of actor base. We look at their spell list, there's nothing in there, which is good. So let's get this NPC and like clear their spell list. Here's what I'm going to do. Our quest script is a great persistent place to store stuff. Some stuff is just private to the quest script, but we could also add properties here for our scripts to make use of. I'm going to I'm just going to keep everything global for right now. I'm going to say I'm going to make a AddSpellMenu barter NPC script. And I'm going to say function reset spells. That'll like clear out all their spells. So from our list thing, we'll say AddSpellMenu barter NPC reset spells. And then we can say add spells. We can add spells from mod list. So we can say add spells and get like a list of them. So we'll get our spell array like we were doing before. We'll just do it right here because it's one line of code calling a utility. Spells equals power of 3 STSE functions dot get all spells in mod, selected mod, comma, is playable, and we'll make it true. AB is for Boolean. We'll reset their spells, and then we'll add spells. So we'll do like a add spell menu barter NPC, add spells. I know all these global things that we're making, I don't want them to show up in for other mods if they have our mod installed. So I'm just gonna make all these hidden global scripts. If they're not attached, if they don't extend something, will show up for other people in the list. Okay, so we've got reset spells, which doesn't do anything yet, and we've got add spells. We'll say spells. Which takes a spell array. And I'll also just make it an after get, which will get the barter NPC. And so that ID that we put in the quest, let's just bring it over here. It would be really nice if we had this quest so that we could, if we do more code sharing, we'll see. Sometimes I give all of my spells a reference to the quest so that we could just say quest.getModForm. We could put the function on here to get the barter NPC. We'll see. I didn't do it like this last time, so we'll see. There's some duplication here because I'm going to say turn game get form from file barter NPC ID as actor. And so like for reset spells, for example, we'll say actor NPC equals get, and then we'll say int spell count equals NPC get spell count, int index equals 0. Can we get all spells? Spell all spells. If we get spell count and we go through and remove them, the ID is going to change. How about while the spell count is greater than 0, we'll remove the first spell. Can I say remove all? Nope. Not a lot of spell stuff on here. We can remove spell. NPC get spell, get nth spell, 0. So that should remove everything. So long as they have some, we'll just remove the first one. We don't get the count and then loop through, because if we get the count and loop through, the count is going to change as we go. And like once we hit that middle point, it'll start breaking. So add spells is pretty easy. Int index equals 0 while index is less than spell's length, and while index ID equals 1, and then let's grab the NPC and we'll do and if we had a link to the quest, we could have like the actor as a reference, but this is fine. This NPC doesn't get used that often, and this just looks them up by an integer. It's pretty fast. So NPC.add spells index. And if they already have the spell, I think I'll just get ignored or whatever. And we'll set the verbosity of this, which is probably AB verbose, to false, because we don't want the game printing out that these spells are being added. Although I don't think it actually will. I think verbose only matters for the player. So I'm going to keep it as the default verbose just to see. So now we've got add spells. Cool, compiles. As it should. Needed to update itself or something. And now we can activate the menu, like the trade menu, with this NPC. So we could say like AddSpellMenu add spell menu barter NPC trade. And that'll open up the little chooser thingy. Kind of like that. Get the selected mod, get the spells from the mod, and then for this barter NPC thingy, you trade with them after getting them set up and resetting their spells. And you can say who you trade with, which is the caster, which is going to be the actor. So let's say, set this to the top. Just want to. Add spells and then function trade actor secondary actor. Oh, didn't tell him we're good. Trace. Want to trade with them. So this will set up the magic menu. So we can do UI magic menu. Magic menu equals UIExtensions dot get menu UI magic menu as magic menu. I don't think we actually need to do that. I think we can use the UIExtensions likes it when you do this. This is their main API. You say init menu, and then you say UIExtensions dot open menu, UI magic menu, and then in this case you can give it this actor, which will be our, I don't know which is which. You give it, I think, who you're trading with, because these things can accept a little form. This is all from looking and reading through UI magic menu. It has an open menu, which takes a form, and form gets set as this actor thing, and then when it actually opens up and it does add remove spell, when you click on it, it's got these two actors. It'll look at your actor, which is, I guess, who you, and then there's like a trade actor. How do you set that? You can set the receiving actor as the trade actor, who you would think would be the player, but I think it's the opposite. So we can say magic menu, set property form, and set this receiving property to an actor. I know, it's weird. Interesting API. I mean, if it were super well documented, then meh. Even there, I'm uploading my video from the last time. Wonder if it finished. It finished uploading. Cool. I want to upload this before I go to Dungeons and Dragons as well. So we'll say UIExtensions dot set menu property form, and then we give it the menu name, UI magic menu. I kind of like it more when you say magic menu equals get menu. It just feels a lot more natural to me. So the way I like to do this is UI magic menu. Magic menu equals UIExtensions dot get menu UI magic menu, and then you don't need to keep repeating magic menu over and over and over again. The only difference is you have to say as magic menu, and then you can say magic menu dot set property form. We'll give a form. We're calling this the receiving actor, and I think it's the one that you barter with. I don't know, remember which is which. I think this is the secondary actor, so it's receiving actor. I don't know. Then we say magic menu dot open menu get. I don't know, let's see if it works. So we're going to call this on trade. Let's compile, see if it works. Oh, I think it won't, and I'll show you why. But let's see if we get what I want to get. Do I have the debugger on? No, I should have turned on the Papyrus debugger so we could look at logs. Although UIExtensions doesn't do any logs. So it just hangs. It just hangs. This took me like about an hour and a half to 2 hours to figure out why. And at the end, I just guessed. And I was like, the website doesn't say this anywhere I can see, but I wonder if the magic menu relies on SkyUI's magic menu. So I installed SkyUI. Now let's run it again. I don't think their homepage says that. It doesn't say SkyUI anywhere. It says that over on page. It says that you need race menu for these. It should say requires SkyUI for this one. If it works, we'll see. Maybe I'll leave a comment, but I don't know if this mod is still getting any updates. There's SkyUI, we can see its spells. Hey, would you look at that? Here's some spells. This says spells because that's what we named our NPC. Let's try and learn Blink. Then it says this annoying thing, spells forgot Blink, and it doesn't show up on our side. If we learn all these things, it doesn't show up on our side. It says blank spells forgot something, and then over here it doesn't say anything. Let's see if we learned the spells. We didn't learn the spells. What's the deal? And why is it so say those crazy notifications? Well, let's look at it. So, when you open up the menu, it registers for a couple of mod events which the Swift flash file triggers using SKSE, which I didn't know you could do, and you totally can. You should look in the Swift file. So when the menu is loaded or closed, it's those events, but then it also triggers this add remove spell event. If we go to where we extracted UIExtensions, it also comes with this interface directory. So in UIExtensions, there's a BSA that has an interface with Flash Swift files and scripts source. So I extracted the interface right here, so we can go and look at the magic menu, and I'm going to open this up with this. You can just say no to all. It usually opens up on my other desktop, which it did. Open up on another window. And then whenever you open this up, if you open up any Swift using this, you're probably going to want to go to scripts and then open up packages and then look for something that looks nice like UI Magic EXT here. Like I've shown you in previous episodes, you can go to like Skyrim's data directory, go to interface. You can find a bunch of Swifts in here. You can find like the one for the actual console. And so if I extract this to downloads, now a console appears that I extracted. It just extracted it into this subdirectory. No to all. If I go to like this, it'll show that's the little console, that's the terminal, that's the tilde console that the game has. And open up packages and click on console, and this is all the code for the console, like for showing it, for hiding it, for managing its history. So here is the one for the magic menu. This is like a magic menu extension. That's what got me thinking that maybe this relies on SkyUI's, this EXT. So I read through here. If you search for SKSE, you can find where it sends events like closing the menu, or if it sends the event that the spell was added or removed. Now I tried this. Let's show you this. I tried swapping these, so we'll have the receiving actor be the bartering NPC, and we'll have the one that we open it with or whatever be the player itself. I tried flipping these to see if I could get that add remove to work, because it made the spells disappear. We saw that, and it said empty string forgot spells. What the F? We'll see those notifications in a moment. But let's try this. Cool. Let's cast the spell. Now it shows up our spells first, which isn't what we want. We want to see these spells first. It swapped the order, whatever. Let's try and go to Blink. It says we're not skilled enough in alteration to learn it. Well, it says we're not skilled enough to learn these things. That's not how we want this mod to work. We want to get the spell no matter what. Now, in that Swift, I saw that there's something that says it'll restrict trade and say that you're not skilled enough to do something. I had trouble swapping that Boolean. And even if I did, that UI wasn't right. When you open up the spell menu, it should show you the spells that we're trying to pick. If it shows you your spells, then the Nexus mods post is going to fill up by saying, girl, your mod sucks and it's wrong, and it's showing me the spells that I know. I don't want the spells that I know. I want the spells that I can learn. So if we look in this code a little bit more, we can see where this add remove spell logic happens. And here's where those notifications are coming from. It sets this notification that says so-and-so forgot so-and blah name. Blah taught spell to blah. I don't want any of this crap. I don't want it. I don't want it. Let's do two things. Let's handle that add remove action ourselves. Like, let's subscribe ourselves, because it's an SKSE event. Let's subscribe to this. And then we can make sure that it's teaching us the spells, because it didn't do anything. It didn't teach us the spells. And then we'll see if we can get rid of those annoying blah, forgot, blah, because that was annoying. So we need to listen for this mod event. Well, we can't do that from a global script, but what we can do is we could have our quest do it. And that's where having access to our quest comes in handy. We can't have our effects do it, because those effects only last a moment. They last the moment that they're cast. But we could ask our quest to do it. We just need a reference to it. So I don't love it, but I also don't hate it. Let's do this. Let's give our list effect, and we'll do it later for the search effect, a reference to our quest. Just call it mod quest or something. It's the quest for this mod. Build it, and we can go to CK and populate this. I'm going to add this to the search one as well too. If we end up using this, then we may as well add the property on both these spells. So let's go to CK. Oh, and I'm going to turn on the Papyrus debug extension in case we end up wanting it. It'll let you see the Papyrus logs super duper duper easily. Let's open up AddSpellMenu. Still pretty good on time. I have to bail in less than an hour. So my goal is to get that magic menu working with us, and then we'll close this out. And then I'll have like a part 3 where we maybe wrap up the search side and wrap up the whole thing, tie a little ribbon on it, and we actually release it to Nexus. Okay, so add spell menu. Here are our spell effects. Here's the list one. So let's open it up and go to the script properties. Let's go to properties, and here's the quest. It won't autofill because we just named it mod quest. So let's edit value, and it's already right there. So that's easy peasy. Then we go to the search effect. We go to its properties, scripts, and click properties. Excuse me. Excuse me. Did this compile okay? I'm gonna comment out everything else in the search one. Creation Kit might want to be like looking at this and trying to like compile it or whatever, and it doesn't have access to Power of Threes functions and stuff like that. It doesn't have access to UI extensions. We haven't set it up that way. So an easy way to hook up your properties in that case is just to get rid of all that code, do a compilation where all you have is the property, and then go back into CK and go to script properties. Now you can connect them and then go back to coding in your VS Code, Notepad++, Sublime, whatever you want. And here's our quest. And we'll do OK, and we'll save. All right, now we have references to those things. So what I could do is I could give this trade function just a reference to our mod quest. We can say like quest equals mod quest. I don't know why I want to do it like that, but I want to do it like that. Because I want some place that I can have this listener, and we're in global scripts. Global scripts are great for organization, but they can't subscribe to things. You can't register a handler because you need an instance of something. But what we can do now is before we open this thing up, we can ask our mod quest if it would please mind registering for a mod event, and we'll grab the mod event that we were just looking at. Add remove spell. Where are we? And then it should do something. It'll call a function that it has itself, and we'll say we'll call it on barter spell. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to add a function that's globally called on barter spell. Over in the quest, I'm going to add a event on barter spell, and I'm just going to call the barter NPC thing and call on barter spell and pass all of my arguments to it, so that I'm just kind of hijacking my quest because it's an instance of something so that I can register for handlers, but I'm still going to keep all of my bartering, trading, magic menu stuff encapsulated in this barter NPC script, which I could call just barter menu is maybe better. Let's consider changing. I'll say consider renaming it. If you call register for mod event, it gives you a bunch of documentation right here, and it even shows you what the example of being an event handler's arguments are, and it's this. And so you get the event name, you get a string, you get a number, and you get the sender. And so we'll just pass all those things along. And we'll update our thing to have that same signature. Yeah, it's an extra step. Sure, it's a microsecond or something of time, but whatever. Just has to load up the memory of this function. It's fine. Our thing doesn't need to be perfect. So on barter spell, we want to do something. So I happen to know from looking at their code, and we can look at on, add, remove spell. Let's look at their handler. Here it is. Here, they trigger the mod event by passing along the form as the spell itself. It's really, really tricky and nice. It's really nice of them, so that the form argument itself isn't the sender, it's the spell. I'll call it the spell, because you can't name an argument spell. And we're not using any of these things. So let's just debug message box the spell as spell dot get name. So that when you click on one of them, if this works, need to fix the compilation error. If it works, too many arguments on add menu quest script 38. Oh. Oh, we added them to the wrong place. You probably saw that. I spent so much time like half talking to the camera, half talking to y'all. It's you. It's not a camera. It's you, the person. So, and then we go to effect list 12 and see what's up there. Line 12. Trade. It's called mod quest is the argument. But I'll just call it, I'll just pass mod quest. Cool. Let's give it a shot. What we want is whenever you click on one of those spells to add or remove them, we want the event. So we want to get a debug message box if this works, so that we can handle this ourselves, so that we can add that spell to the actor without going through this restricted nonsense, which I had trouble getting past. And to get past it, you have to flip the actors anyway. This magic menu doesn't exactly exist for our purposes, but we can make it work for our purposes. So here it is. Oh, it's still showing our spells first, because we didn't swap those again. That is not what we want. Not at all. We want to go to trade. I'm hitting F12 to jump straight to those things, by the way. It'll take you to the definition of any of your functions, or really any functions. We can go to register for mod event, and it'll go to register for mod event in the definition of form. So just hit F12. It's a great way to go to stuff. This will go to UI Magic Menu's open menu. I should have been showing you that all along. But we'll have the receiving actor be the actor that we get passed as the trade actor, which is the player and we'll have the bartering actor, the fake one where we store all these spells. So we'll flip those like we had them before. I think I'll have just enough time to wrap this up. I want to show you this menu working. I want to save that and push it. Okay, so now it shows us the spells again. We can see here's the spells. It's called spells, and here's ours. So let's do blink. Ah, blink. Shadow step, cool. Shadow dance, cool. Nice, but we're still not learning them. I don't see them, so that should be a trivial fix. Let's say form arg, and let's say the spell equals form arg as spell. Let's just add it to the player. And it'll be verbose because we're not turning off verbosity. Okay, let's get blink. It says blah forgot blink, but behind that it says blink added. So if we look at our character, they're not there. But if we go into our magic menu, they did get added. So we got a couple of problems here. One, we can't get rid of those notifications, which are really annoying. Two, when you click on something, it doesn't automatically update in that menu. Folks would report that as a bug if we release this like that. So let me save and at least say can learn spells from UI magic menu. We can learn the spells. It's not perfect, but it works. So the only way that I've figured out best to remove those notifications is to do something like this. Source, new file. I'm going to add UI magic menu. Let's copy it in. Let's just go to it by just going here. I'm going to copy all the text. It's called UI magic menu. Now what this means is that folks at home using a language feature should disabled. Folks at home will get a conflict notification, and they'll need to have ours override the UI extensions. The only thing that will not work is if they don't use our version, then they'll still get those annoying blah forgot notifications. So here's what ours is going to do. The first thing we do is we look at the permissions and credits. Normally there would be a bunch of checkboxes. There's not a lot here. So we will have our mod page on Nexus super duper call this out that we've done this. Cool. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say I'm going to add a bool called verbose. I'm going to set it equal to false. I'm going to set it equal to true. And I'm going to go and I'm going to change all these annoying messages, these messages right here. I'm going to have them only trigger if verbose is true. So it's set property string notification. If it's a notification and verbose, then we'll do this. But we'll allow you to update this verbose property. We'll say else if property name equals verbose notifications, or like notifications verbose equals value. So this way we can disable notifications and only send notification if so we didn't change any of the default behavior of this, because all we've done is we've set a boolean equal to true, and we've said if an existing conditional and true. So we won't change any existing behavior, but for us we can set this property notifications to false. So let's do that right now. Magic menu dot set property bool notifications false. Okay, so let's do that. The one other thing I want to point out in here is, I think it's in the code. There's these add spell and remove spell. Those didn't work for me. Here's this one thing. You can set the actor and the secondary actor. And I had a thought, maybe that refreshes their spells inventory. So whenever we add a spell, we'll use this and it'll refresh the inventory. So let's give it a shot. We need a reference to the damn, no we don't, we're using UI, we don't need a reference. And it's going to be the player, so the player is the secondary actor per this. So, and we can get these from UI. Oh, right, we don't have an instance of it. So let's just get these. Root menu is, I think, just custom menu. And then menu root is like dot underscore root, I think. Dot underscore root dot underscore root dot. And these, if you're curious, are just functions inside of here. So there is a set secondary actor function in the Flash Swift, and you can use UI.invoke to call ActionScript functions. That's what these are in UI Swifts. So let's give it a shot. So we changed two things. We changed those notification thingies to off, and we set it so that it should refresh the inventory of our actor. I gotta go so soon. Okay, here's what they have now. Let's add blink. Okay, I see blink. Now I see flames twice. Okay, let's add teleport. I see teleport. Oh god, now flames is there 3 times. Shadow dance. Shadow Dance is there, but oh god, there's 4 flames. So it's working. Ta-da! It's working, and we're not getting those notifications. Look at the top left. Power blink, it just says power blink added. Shadow step, it just says shadow step added. We don't get that annoying thingy. So overriding UI magic menu worked. But by now we should have all these duplicates. So it's adding the entire inventory of this player to the UI. Okay. Let's totally game the system. Let's make our own NPC. And whenever we add a spell, we will give that NPC 1 spell. And then we'll set them as the secondary actor. I went through the Swift file for ages to try and find ways to get it to try and, like, I wanted to find a way to call a function or set a property that would just add this 1 spell to the list. But we don't have the source code files. This is decompiled Flash, and the variable names are things like LOC1, LOC3, LOC4, LOC6. This is impossible. Here's the get entry list push, and I just couldn't figure out how to call this. I bet I could figure out how to call get entry list, which will return like whatever, but I need to call push on the object that get entry list returns. I just don't know if that's possible using the UI script from SKSE. So let's do a hacky way, and then I can go to Dungeons and Dragons. So did we already open up AddSpellMenu? Cool. Let's add another NPC, barter NPC, and I'm just going to call this NPC, like, I kind of want to call them hack NPC. AddSpellMenu traded spell NPC. We won't give them a name. The name's going to be interesting. So let's save them. Let's go ahead and make them not a fox, because I don't think foxes can have spells. And I only gave them items because I don't know, I want, in case anyone comes into the game and opens them, her to not be naked. And so I'm going to go to my cell, and the cell where I have this actor over here, and I'm just going to add her right next to it. Now for this one, that's a loud fire engine. Okay, this one I'm just going to call like AddSpellMenu traded spell NPC instance. Cool. Let's get their identifier. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to set them as the secondary actor right here. So we are going to reset the spells on this actor. So we'll use reset spells. We'll have reset spells default to the barter NPC, but let's reuse it. These trucks outside are just killing me. We'll say actor traded spell actor. use a get traded spell actor. Grab this identifier for their instance. They are 22F7. That's 22F7. Save, close, cool. Completion failed on 19, previously defined. Such little time. Such little time. Hope you followed that. And it's weird. It's hacky, right? I'm making an NPC and I'm going to give them one spell, the one that we just traded, and I'm going to call this function with it because this function appears to update the spell list of the actor, but it will re-add spells. And so what if we do it this way? I mean, it's hacky, yeah. There's a lot of modding stuff behind the scenes, hacky, yeah. Okay, so here's prisoner. They don't have blink. Let's get blink. So there's blink added up here. They're probably none. Why are they none? It's 22F7, right? To F7 trade spell instance. This one has a name called spells. Do they need to have a name or something? Move this straight up down here. I think I'm going to have to bail. And it's 22F7. Cat UI is enabled. To F7. What are we missing, you guys? We could give him a name. That's like the only thing I can think of that's different from the other one. Trade spell NPC, trade spell NPC. They're not a fox, they're dark elf. They exist. We open up the cell. They're there. It's 2-2 F7. 2-2 F7. 2-2 F7. Something not compiling. Does not come across in like a ESL. Did we ESLify too soon? Let's try that really quickly. Okay, I think it's because we made a light plugin. I went to SSE Edit and I un-ESLified it. I just did what we did before, but I removed the ESL flag and I saved. I think maybe that form ID that we have, 2217, is maybe too high. And there's some tool, I don't know how, I think SSE Edit can probably change all those form IDs, which will make your code need to change, which I'll have to learn how to do that later. So, but what I am going to do is go to Riverroad. Let's get rid of all those notifications. Let me show you first that if I cast a spell, I get the form, the actor. If I go over here, it says trade spell NPC. Shadow step. Power blink. Shadow step and where's power blink? Power blink. Cool, they're getting added. So the final thing to do is we reset their spells. I just need to change their name, because right now it says trade actor, but it's supposed to say your player's name, which is prisoner when you COCN. So I'm going to say trade spell actor, get base object, which is their base form, not the instance. I'm going to set their display name. Set name, maybe? Set name. Still set their name. Can you set a display name? It's not. I'll set their name to the game player. Do we have a reference to them? We'll get their base object and get their display name. Get name, I guess. I thought get display name was a thing. Let's see if this works. Okay, here's prisoner, right? I want teleport. Still says prisoner, and now they have teleport. Shadow stud, I have it. I double check, I can exit out, and see that I got this. Let's get the rest of the spells. It's showing ones that we already have. So here's two things that I'm going to do next time. Don't add spells that we already have to the barter NPC. To do, is that it? Kind of works great. Whoops. Let's make it not add spells when you looks like let's not handle a click if you already have a spell. Otherwise it keeps showing it. I think that's kind of good for now. Build, GitHub, work in progress. Got magic menu working, for spell trading. Okay. Commit, push so I don't lose that work. That was part 2. Not bad. It's definitely enough that we can close it out next time. Ooh, in 50 seconds we will hit 2 hours, so let's close out right before that. Thank you for sticking with me. I hope you've been learning a bunch. This is so much fun. I can't wait to get this out there. When I say I can't wait to get this out there, I mean the video series and teaching y'all to do it way more than like, I don't care whether this goes on Nexus, we'll put it up, but mainly so that I can, I don't know, advertise the learnings. There's no other purpose for me. I just want to teach y'all how to do cool stuff because it's cool and it's a lot easier to do than folks generally think. So I know it didn't look easy, but at least you can rewind because it's a video. So all right, thank you, and happy modding, y'all.